It starts with a sound. The hum stops. Not a dramatic crash. Not a warning. Just the refrigerator going quiet, the air conditioning cutting out, and a house that was running on its own suddenly requiring your full attention. You check your phone. The battery is at 40% and dropping. The router lights are off. Outside, the street is still. Most people have been in that moment. What surprises them is not the darkness itself. It is the inventory that follows. How much food is in the refrigerator and how long will it stay cold? Is there water if the pumps go down? Where are the flashlights? How long can this last before it becomes a real problem? That moment, standing in a quiet house, running through a mental checklist that was never written down, is exactly what most preparedness thinking is trying to solve for. The system works so consistently that it fades into the background. Heating, cooling, food storage, communication, transportation, medical devices, security systems. All of it runs on electrical infrastructure that most households never think about until it stops. Even tasks that appear unrelated to electricity often rely on equipment, supply chains, or digital systems operating somewhere in the background. And the longer an outage runs, the more specific the questions become. Not general questions about survival, specific ones. How is food managed without refrigeration for more than a day? How are supplies organized when normal routines disappear? What replaces the systems that usually operate without any thought? These questions don't appear during a 2-hour outage. They appear on day 2. This has led to an entire category of preparedness thinking: generators, battery systems, solar panels, water filters, food storage containers, emergency kits. Most of it focused on equipment, physical tools designed to restore familiar routines when infrastructure fails. But there is a second category that receives less attention: not hardware, knowledge. The difference becomes visible during extended outages. Someone can own a generator and still not know how to manage a food supply over 5 days without refrigeration. Someone can have water storage containers and still not have a rotation system that keeps those supplies usable. Possessing equipment and understanding practical day-to-day procedures are not the same thing. The gear sits in a garage. The knowledge has to be somewhere in your head. That distinction is where David's Shield operates. Rather than being a physical device, it is structured as an educational system focused on preparedness knowledge, off-grid practices, and infrastructure-independent living techniques. It is delivered as a digital product, a core guide that walks through preparedness concepts, practical procedures, and organizational frameworks built around operating during extended infrastructure disruptions. The package also includes supplementary materials covering home protection concepts and preparedness-oriented medical and herbal knowledge. Some versions are available in printed format as well. After purchase, access comes through downloadable materials and a members area. There is no equipment, no hardware, no installation. The product is an information resource, something to be read, studied, and applied to a specific household's circumstances. The process starts with the material itself. A user works through the guide section by section, moving from concept to procedure. One section might focus on evaluating food storage areas. What is already in the home, how it is organized, what would last and what wouldn't. Another might cover identifying alternative water sources or evaluating methods for preserving food without a working refrigerator. Another might address how to structure daily routines when the systems that normally run automatically are no longer available. None of it requires specialized tools to begin. Some sections involve basic household organization. Others may call for outdoor space, storage capacity, or simple materials most households already have. The experience is closer to following a detailed manual than operating a piece of equipment. The user reads, considers the procedure, and decides which elements apply to their own situation. The required skill level varies by topic, but the consistent pattern is translation. Written instructions become physical actions. A chapter about food storage becomes an afternoon reorganizing a pantry shelf. A section on water management becomes a written plan with specific containers and a rotation schedule. The guide provides the framework. The household provides the environment. Once the initial review is complete, the relationship with the material tends to continue. People return to specific sections when circumstances change, use particular chapters as references before a storm season, or revisit plans after a move or a change in household size. The information stays fixed after delivery, but how it gets applied tends to evolve. Maintenance, in this context, means keeping plans current and staying familiar with procedures. not servicing hardware or replacing parts. The product functions as a preparedness reference rather than a system requiring upkeep. There are practical limits to what any educational system can deliver. The guides present methods, procedures, and frameworks. Implementation always happens inside the constraints of a specific home. Available space, local regulations, climate conditions, household size, and existing resources all shape what is practical and what isn't. The product works within those realities rather than around them. This tends to make it a natural fit for people who are already drawn to preparedness, self-reliance, off-grid living, homesteading, emergency planning, or infrastructure awareness. People who prefer to learn a system before they need it. People who find more confidence in understanding a procedure than in owning a piece of equipment. Someone looking for a device that performs a function automatically will find this format different from that. David's Shield is built around information and planning, not physical technology. Both categories exist within the preparedness space. They address different layers of the same problem. Hardware focuses on capability. Knowledge focuses on what to do with it. And when the hum stops, when the house goes quiet and the checklist begins, how prepared someone actually is depends on both.